Welcome to the REALL Academy, brought to you each Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time by
the Resilience DoctHers,
Dr. Sheikah Houston and Dr. Tammy Taylor, best-selling authors, consultants, and speakers of Create and Educate LLC. Create and Educate LLC is an educational consultant and literary firm that provides professional development to schools and community. Their goal is to transform organizations with the REALL Resilient framework used to increase their school report card grades 2 and 3 grade levels in 1 year. REALL stands for Respect, Excellence, Accountability, Literacy, and Leadership. This framework is used to coach leaders and teachers and build student efficacy while putting systems in place that aligns the work of the school improvement, making the process manageable. When the work is manageable, teachers and leaders don't stress out or burn out.
The Resilience DoctHers.
Alignment systems are designed to help schools evolve and grow, all while instituting protocols and processes designed to promote collaboration and collegiality. The implementation of the alignment framework prevents some of the most common problems in education, where leaders sometimes aren't sure where to start, or in our new age of educating, leaders need a trusted sounding board that allows them to be vulnerable and transparent, preventing loneliness at the top. The framework doesn't just help leaders, but also prevents teachers from burning out from too many initiatives and embracing teachers as they are the experts. Finally, the framework extends to the children, helping them get engaged in school and solving a nationwide problem. Alignment systems are frequently referred to as a key element of success in the improvement process. In the sport of rowing, all rowers must put their oars in the water, succinctly creating a system for their boat to reach maximum speed. So schools that want to improve are bringing in
the Resilience DoctHers
to teach them all about the alignment systems that must be in place for school improvement to be accomplished at high levels. The dynamic duo provides insights into educational topics through their international platform, which includes educators, parents, and community members as a way to support important entities that make communities thrive. This is their way to pay it forward and provide the support they needed through their platform. Take a look. People who work with
the Resilience
describe them as an
DoctHers
excellent and inspiring group of leaders. They get into the weeds of work with leaders through their TrustMate Institute that you should contact them about today by filling out the contact form on their website.
It's Super Saturday, everyone. Welcome to episode 230 of the REALL Academy, brought to you by Create and Educate with your very own Resilience DoctHers. I'm Dr. Sheikah Houston.
And I am Dr. Tammy Taylor. We're excited to continue season 5 with another foundational conversation around building resilient schools. Good morning, Sheikah.
Good morning, Tammy. Absolutely. So if this is your first time tuning in and you're wondering, well, who are the Resilience DoctHers?
We are very glad that you asked. We are best-selling authors, children's book authors, award-winning educators, and speakers who transformed our schools through report card movement, raising achievement 2 and 3 levels in just a single year.
Absolutely. And as senior staff developers for Create and Educate, we know that school transformation is needed in many areas. So if behavior is off the charts, and sometimes it is this time of year, we can help. If your students need that reading stamina, we have great literacy strategies, so we can help. And if teachers need that help with literacy, we can definitely help with that. And if you need leadership discussion guides for this episode of the REALL Academy or any of the episodes in season 5, contact us and we will tell you how to subscribe. And finally, if you're looking for those children children's book authors visits, we are your girls.
Yes, we are. And if you can't bring us in just yet, just keep tuning in to the Real Academy. We have impacted over 300,000 educators and nearly 7 million students through our free Fantastic Four PD every Super Saturday. We start the morning with Principal Sean Hurt at 10 a.m. He was on this morning and, as usual, doing his thing. And then we follow, of course, in the Real Academy at 10:30. And then at 11 a.m., the mentor of all leaders and the GOAT in the AP and New Principals Academy with Principal Kafele. And then on Sundays, we round out with the PGP podcast with Dr. Marty Moreno and Principal Josh Tovar.
Absolutely. So please like, share, subscribe, send the stars, comment, do all of the things that the algorithms do to help us out. And we say please and thank you. So if you are a Real Fam member, you know that it is Real Fam shout out time. So let me get over to that section and shout out to Lizzie, who's helping get the comments up, and shout out to Brandon, who texted me early this morning to let me know that he was going to be marching in the parade. So we know that he's doing a great job.
Yes.
AP Patrick Lawrence, thank you for joining us out of Connecticut. David Bell from Benton Harbor, Michigan, thank you for joining us. And Lizzie, you can still keep putting up the comments. I'm going to just read off of the list. Chancellor Rashard Davis out of Las Vegas, thank you for joining us. Professor Laws is in the house from Greenville, North Carolina. Thank you for joining us. And I see you've been getting those workouts in as well. Coach Dot McKeever Jeter, the one and only, the promoter of all the platforms. We appreciate you and thank you for joining us. Dr. Melissa Jones Chunu, thank you for joining us. Queen Jasmine Harris out on the West Coast, and our other West Coast queen, Stacy L. Joy. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. We also have with us Dr. Edwin Garcia. Thank you for joining us. Dr. Joe Griffin, who also does this work. Thank you for joining us. My mom, Beverly Hall. Thank you for joining us. Dr. Sinitra Williams from right here in South Carolina with us. Thank you for joining us. The GOAT is in the building. Principal Kafele, thank you for joining us, and we appreciate you. Principal Sean Hurt, as Tammy said, he was on fire and has us set on fire already this morning. Thank you for joining us. And let's see, Queen Jacqueline Harriet out of Nova Scotia, Canada. Thank you for joining us. We got Valerie McKay, and I don't know if it's McKay or Macy. Thank you for joining us. Kenna Rawlin out of New Jersey. Thank you for joining us. Jennifer Desmond out of Canada as well. Thank you for joining us. And our brother in the work, Principal Josh Tovar. September Devance Vance Daniels. Thank you for joining us. And I think that's everybody. Thank you all for joining us. We appreciate you all, and we know that you could be doing a lot of other things, but you are intentional about being here with us. We have a few announcements. Our vision board workshop went really well with the Beacon Foundation. We thank them for having us. All of the princesses and queens that were there, we enjoyed each and every one of them. These are my little princesses, and that's Tammy's little princess, Abby, right there. But we enjoyed all of the ladies and girls that attended. So thank you to the Beacon Foundation. We are ready to join the Rotary Club. Rotary International is bringing us in. They want to discover the secret sauce and their superpowers. So they are bringing in Create and Educate to help them with that. That will be this week. And our bulk orders are coming in for Amir's Awakening. We have bulk orders going to Canada, Oklahoma, Baltimore, Houston. And I hope that you all keep them loading. And hopefully tomorrow, if the snow doesn't come, we hope for snow in the South. We never see snow, so we actually hope for it. But if the snow holds off for tomorrow, we will be taking the Resilience train out to the Martin Luther King Junior Observance Parade. So if you have not scheduled your author's visit, please contact us and get us in for those visits. Be sure to check out our radio show on WGCD radio station, Parents Are First Teachers. And if you don't get it live, we do have it on our podcast where we will put that link in the comments. It's on Wednesdays and Saturdays, but we will show you the podcast link too to get all of the episodes if you want to hear them. So we are officially in season 5, where for the next 13 weeks, we are going to be unpacking foundations of resilient schools, systems that sustain people and results. So that brings us to episode 230, Excellence as a Tier 1 System. So today we're going to be shifting excellence from a buzzword to a systematic practice and showing how excellence in Tier 1 strengthens academics, behavior, attendance, and SEL.
Yes, but before we get started and jump into the work for today, we want to clear something up first. And that is excellence is not perfection. Perfection burns people out, but excellence builds consistency. And this is something that you have to really give special, focused attention to, especially if you are one of those folks like me who have that tendency to lean towards perfectionism. You have to understand that excellence does not look like perfection. It looks like a consistent system that builds consistency, not perfection. Because when you expect people to be perfect, it stresses them and they eventually burn out.
Absolutely. So when schools chase perfection, teachers feel pressure. And when schools build excellence, that means you're cultivating it. And when I say schools, I mean that means we together, not you and y'all. We together are building excellence in our schools so that way teachers feel supported. They feel like you have joined them in the work. And so excellence answers one question clearly. What does good, and I changed this to great, what does great look like here every day for everyone? Because our goal is greatness. So in resilient schools, excellence lives at Tier 1. And Tammy, you might have to help Lizzie put some of the comments up because I think she fell off.
Okay.
It lives at Tier 1 for universal supports for all. So Tier 1 excellence includes clear instructional expectations. That means we have to unpack those standards and everybody has to understand the standards that are supposed to be taught. We have to have some commonality around that. So there has to be common language for quality. One thing that both Tammy and I did was we made sure we had instructional manuals so that there was clarity around common language and commonalities around what we're doing. When we're saying something's a thing, we all have to be able to name the thing so we all know what we're talking about. So we have to talk the same language. Consistent walkthrough look-fors, and then shared responsibilities for outcomes.
For sure. And definitely that common language sets the tone for everybody being able to understand and articulate even what the expectations are. Because when you know the expectations, then you are able to meet the expectations. And what we want to make sure we emphasize today is that when excellence is clear at Tier 1, intervention becomes targeted, not chaotic. Unclear excellence will create frustration, but clear excellence creates alignment, and things all fit together and they all fall into place, and everybody's able to operate within the system.
Absolutely. And that is the beauty of our framework. So Create and Educate's 5 super strengths is not just something catchy. It's a way for people to be able to duplicate the same work that we did to grow our schools in those in 1 year, 2 levels, and 3 levels. You can do this anywhere if you make sure that you have respect, excellence, accountability, literacy, and leadership. And these super strengths, as we call them, form three core systems. And when you have those systems in place, it is really hard to fail. So that's systems of respect. That's where your belonging and your culture is cultivated. Like we talked about, you have to build excellence in both of those systems of excellence where your instruction and your engagement looks excellent. It is not something that people are just leaving to chance and coming in and flying by the seat of their pants. And then those systems of accountability where you actually have follow through and there's actually growth and you're looking for it.
Absolutely. And what happens is excellence actually sits at the center of teaching and learning, because without it, accountability then feels like it's unfair and like you're targeting me. And that's where you start to see respect begins to break down. But what we know is that excellence supports all MTSS domains: academics, because you have high quality tier 1 instruction, which reduces the need for remediation; behavior, you have engaging lessons going on. Guess what that does? It reduces disruptions. Attendance, students show up where excellence lives. When children are part of a system of excellence, guess what they want to do? They want to come to school. They want to be a part of that. So you have to create, and as Shika mentioned before, cultivate that kind of environment that invites children to want to be a part of what's going on. And then for SEL, excellence includes emotional and safety and belonging and knowing that you are a part of the system. You are as integral to the system as any other aspect. Every cog has a reason that is there. And when you present in that way, everybody in the school feels needed, everybody feels necessary, and everybody enjoys being a part of that system.
Absolutely, Tammy. You said a mouthful. And I just presented at the South Carolina Hearing Officers Roundtable, Prevent Before You Preside. And we discussed preventions in MTSS, in the MTSS model. So things that you can include that are preventative that won't have you having to have so many hearings. And so excellence is preventative. It's a prevention measure. If you're walking in excellence in everything that you do at your school, if you've been intentional about cultivating it in every system and at every level, then that is preventative. You won't have things falling apart, children falling through the cracks, and children not wanting to be there because you would have been intentional about cultivating it in all of those things. And shout out to Dr. Kelvin Williams, who asked me to present, and all of my hearing officer peeps. We are going to be presenting at the South Carolina School Board Association's conference in February. So we are definitely excited about that. But again, excellence is preventative, and it reduces referrals. It reduces the amount of reteaching that has to be done. And essentially, it reduces teacher exhaustion.
And I'm glad to hear that you guys are going to be presenting at the School Board Association conference, because everybody needs to hear and know how important it is to have these preventative measures in place so that we can begin to do school the way school is designed, not by the system, but by excellence within the systems that we create to be done. And that cannot happen if everybody is not on board.
Absolutely, Tammy. It takes every person that is a part of the school system to make the school system better. And so excellence can definitely come from motivational speeches. I've had motivational speakers come to my school. I know, Tammy, you've had them at yours, and they do a lot with motivating people. I think that smart leaders, or intentional leaders, I should say, that sounds better, make sure that they intentionally do things to make that message last longer, like putting something in your town hall meetings, creating lessons around it. That makes it more sustainable. But if you really want things to remain constant when it comes to systems, you have to make sure that systems clarify what we teach. Again, unpacking those standards is very, very essential. What I think is one thing could mean something completely different to somebody else with different experiences over here. So we have to have a clear understanding on what we're teaching. You have to know how we're going to teach. So when we are making sure that everything is accessible to every learner in our class at the tier 1 level, that determines how you teach it. It's based upon who is in your room, not what you like to do as the teacher, but what my children are going to respond to, what's going to activate them, and what's going to make this be retained in their learning. Also, it clarifies how we support them, how we support the children, where we have to intensify what we're doing sometimes when they may not have gotten it on their tier 1 level. We have to add extra supports. But at the leadership level, we also have to decide how we're supporting the classroom, how we're supporting the teachers, how we're supporting the children and the parents. And then we have to look at what Principal Kafele teaches us. How are we going to refine and reflect? We have to hold up those mirrors.
Oh, for sure, Shika. And the thing that I think is the at the center of all of it, because we've talked about how excellence is what this is all about. It goes back to what you were just saying. When you're talking about giving students what they need, we have to have systems in place as administrators, as intentional leaders, to make sure we know what that is. So we have to figure out how this is going to work from classroom to classroom. And that means giving teachers the autonomy to do what is needed in those classrooms, but also holding them accountable in a way that says, hey, I have you when you have these children. So just making sure that all cylinders are firing. And I love what you said about the motivation, because that is very true. The motivational speeches that come from people who are outside of our organization are great, and it's encouraging and it's motivating for the moment. It's inspirational, but nothing comes more motivational than the inspiration that comes from you as a leader in that building, who sets the tone for what it is you expect, what you know you all are capable of as a staff and as students, as families even. And you mentioned Principal Kafele, and I love one of those training things that he shared with us, like way back in one of the first conferences we went to. And he had shown a clip of him delivering one of the messages that he did, I think every day. He gave a message to his children, his staff, every day. Nothing beats being in a place where you can do that and make sure that you set the tone for what's expected and what you want to see happening and what you expect from everybody in that building. So this is why I think leadership coaching, instructional coaching, self-awareness assessments, and teacher efficacy workshops all matter, because excellence has to be built. We can't just hope for it.
Absolutely, Tammy. And excellence is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters well and doing it consistently.
Yes, ma'am. Resilient schools are not chasing trends. They are building systems that allow excellence to live long term there.
Absolutely. So thank you all for joining us for this episode 230 of the Real Academy. Make sure next week you tune in. We're going to continue our foundation work with accountability as a tier 1 system.
So catch the replay, share it with your team, and join us on next Super Saturday because we are the Resilience Doctors, helping you create and educate so that you can thrive.
Absolutely. Make sure you join Principal Kafele next, and also join Josh and Dr. Marty Moreno on Sunday for the PGP podcast. And then right back here on Super Saturday, starting off with Principal Sean Hurt at 10 a.m. Yours truly, Create and Educate, at 10:30, and Principal Kafele, the GOAT, is at 11 now. So thank you all and have a real amazing Super Saturday.
See you guys.